Real YouTube base talk about successful teams. Today we are talking about teams that did well on the ladder, and also some of them are pretty cool, and there's a lot of unique Pokemon, so it's actually pretty exciting. Hello, it's me, Guy, who speaks in a low voice for some reason, and today we're going to be talking about Japan primarily. So this wasn't intentionally Japanese themed video, but it's because Japan just kind of blew everybody out of the water. So this is a tweet from Liberty Note. They have collected the top 30 teams at the end of the ladder. Let me zoom in a little bit. Ranked Battle Season 12, Double Battle Top 30 parties have been put together. We update as more information becomes available. In addition, the site is looking for contributions of construction articles. This doesn't really apply to most of you all because you didn't finish higher than 2,000, I think. I didn't finish higher than... I wasn't even close to 2,000. I don't even want to know where I was. But yeah, basically, Liberty Note has some really cool work, and they've actually gone ahead and collected the top 30 teams. So this is just Google translated. It's originally in Japanese. Yeah, so basically these are the teams that finished first, second, etc. And I kind of just wanted to go through these. I'll zoom in a little bit. I wanted to go through these and just kind of talk about some observations, some interesting trends, and then, yeah, like, if anyone's curious, like, yeah, like, maybe you can take inspiration from these. So the first place team is really interesting. It's from Jean, who is a player who I have played with before, was on one of my, back when I participated in a team tournament. I drafted them as one of the players. Really nice person, and a really strong player as well. Like, someone who's been consistent across multiple formats. I feel like someone who's pretty underrated. Like, not like, I don't know if everyone knows who Jean is, but like, yeah, they're very, very, very strong. Anyway, they have Urshifu Heatran, which is a Pokemon who, like, I've always liked Heatran, but I haven't really messed around with this format, so it's interesting to see it doing so well. Grimmsnarl, which I feel like is actually really good. Rillaboom, Landorus T, and Zapdos. So a couple kind of underrated Pokemon here: Grimmsnarl, Heatran, and Zapdos. And unless this is Dark type or Water type Urshifu, which I don't believe it is, I'm almost certain it's Dark type. No Water type as well. So interesting Pokemon across the board. Like, Zapdos hasn't had seen much usage. Landorus has been kind of underplayed. Rillaboom has fallen off even a bit since Series 7 started, back when it was really dominant in Series 5, and then Grimmsnarl is picking up, but not super popular. Heatran hasn't seen much usage at all, and then Urshifu's everywhere. So this is like a really interesting team in construction. And you can see it's actually not that different from the second place team of Kabiba, who's also very, 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 very strong, to say the least. But yeah, another Zapdos, another Heatran. It's the same team with Porygon 2 and Landorus T. So this is really interesting to me because this is not something that I have seen very much in practice and testing. There's not like a composition I've played against very much, so it's interesting to me to see it do first and second in. You can see that they have a really, really high score as well. Over 2,000 ranking is actually ridiculous. But yeah, so these teams they're different than what we've seen before. So this is, I guess, it's a new core. The Zapdos, T-Trend, Grimmsnarl, Rillaboom, Urshifu. I don't even know what the core is and what are the supporting pieces because I'm not familiar with how this team plays, but it's very interesting. Third place, and this is where things get really interesting. This is like a more standard team. Dragapult and Bronzong are like not super common. But yeah, other than that, like Landorus, T, Thundurus, Feeny, and Sonora, those are all more common pieces. This is the only Tapu Fini in the top 30, as far as I'm aware. I'm pretty sure this is the only one, which is shocking to me, because Feeny, according to Pikalytics, if I'm not much mistaken, is number 1 in usage on Showdown. And on Battle Stadium Series 7, it's also number 1 in usage. So the fact that this is the only Feeny in the top 30 is just baffling to me. I don't know if I mentioned this explicitly yet, but the top 30 teams, as far as I'm aware, like, they're all... She has 2 alts in the top 7. What? They're all Japanese except for, I think, Paul Chua made it in. But I think other than that... Wait, did Paul Chua make it in? I'm pretty sure he did. But I think everyone... Yeah, Paul Chua, yeah. Everyone else is Japanese, I think. Unless it's, like, one of the people who they don't know who they are. But... yeah, it's actually ridiculous. Like, Japan just absolutely dominated the rankings this season, which is very impressive. I don't want to go through every team specifically, but I want to call out a couple of trends. Spectrier, as it finishes in 4th. Let's find out the Spectrier, because it's been picking up in popularity. This is BIDC again. Finished 3rd and 9th. Like, there's a couple players with, like, Jean is 1st and 7th. BIDC is 3rd and 9th. Like, very, very impressive overall. No, very, very impressive, just period. 10th place is a really unique team with Nihilego Garchomp. Garchomp hasn't seen much play at all. And then more Porygon 2. We see Porygon 2 in 10th, 8th, 6th, 2nd. Very interesting in my opinion. Another Bronzong. Oh, wait, that's just BIDC again, yeah. Dragapult actually finishing 5th, finishing 3rd. Like, Dragapult picking up is a little bit surprising to me. There's just a lot of really interesting stuff here. Couple Regieleki. What else? Glastrier, we are obviously knows good. This is that. Oh, the Gene again. That's why I was like, it's the same team as before, but it's the same player as well. Celesteela finishing 10th is interesting. Venusaur Sun pops up in 11th. Here's a cool team. There's this Spectrier again with Sylveon, Metagross, Moltres. I don't know where the weakness policy is. If it's on Metagross, if it's on Moltres, I'd be interesting to see this team. Wait. Okay, so if this column is yes, then you can see like the report, or like they posted. Oh, they posted a report, so this is interesting as well. You can see this team is like Life Orb, Spectre, Shuka Choice Band, Sash. Wow, this is a weird team. Not bad, just weird. So yeah, if you're interested, you can learn more there. So yeah, Sun Team, Sylveon Team, Sun Team, Terrakion makes an appearance. Beat up Terrakion makes an appearance, which is interesting to me. What else? More Sun. Now we have something really weird. Like, this is Arctozolt, which is very interesting. Arctozolt has seen basically no play. I don't even know if it's called Arctozolt. Yeah. It's Life Orb Arctozolt. I assume it is Slush Rush, but I'm not positive even about that. Yeah, I don't even know if it has... I won't be able to tell. But yeah, so that's like, this is a really, really weird team. You can see that there's some interesting stuff. Another Spectrier, like Regirock Spectrier, which is interesting. I wonder if that's support Spectrier, because that's something that's popping up. Support Spectrier. That's something that was theorized. It actually hasn't seen that much usage. Spectrier, more Sun, more Entei, more Regirock, more Sun. Stack Attack makes an appearance. Cinderace actually makes an appearance as well. More Spectrier, more Spectrier with Paul. Yeah, more Garchomp. So overall, it's just very interesting to me. You can see there's a lot of Pokemon here that like for example, like if you played Pokemon and you were like a beginner, and somebody might tell you like, hey, don't use Pokemon that aren't like conventionally good because you like won't do well with them, and like that's not bad advice, but it's just interesting to me that like Japan as a region is typically a region that like thinks and conceptualizes about the game in a very different way than other parts of the world, which I don't think is a crazy thing to say. Like Japan has always been like, if you were going to watch one region, like most players will look at Japan more than anything, right? I know Ray, who won Worlds 3 times, is always very like heavily influenced by what the Japanese players were doing at the time, and seeing something like this was not a Japanese tournament. This is the same thing that we were all playing in, right? But it's very interesting to me to see which Pokemon that Japan thinks are like in general are good, right? Like Heatran's a Pokemon that we have not really seen, right, and haven't really seen well used at all. At least I haven't. And over there, it's first and second overall in ladder, for third or fourth as well. Like finishing 3 of the top 4 is kind of ridiculous, especially for a Pokemon that like people kind of wrote off. And additionally, there's Pokemon like Spectrier, which like I know I hadn't really considered to be a big threat, that are just like really dominating here. And Tapu Lele, like there's so many weird Pokemon, and by weird I mean Pokemon that like the rest of us haven't really considered to be that, I don't know, significant, relevant. Tapu Lele, which we haven't seen, like I haven't seen a single Tapu Lele this format, at least not one that was used well. So to finish 4th overall with like this many strong players is a little bit ridiculous. No Feeny as well. Like we go, I'm like, look, this is the only Feeny in 3rd place, right? And technically 9th because it's 2 people. There's the same person twice. But like other than that, there's no Feeny on this list, which is ridiculous. Feeny is, oh, here's another one. I'm sorry, I missed one. Okay, two Feeny out of top 30. 3 Feeny, oh, that's Paul. Okay, so, 3 to 4 Feeny, depending on if you want to double count, and then maybe these. But, like, this Pokemon, like we just saw, was 50% usage on Showdown, right? Over 50% usage, and it's on 4 of the top 30 teams. Like, why? Why is that? I'm just so, it's so interesting to me, So, I don't know, I think there's a lot of really interesting things here. I think if you want to, like, sit down and do analysis, you can. It's just interesting to me to see how different regions play the game, and, like, to see what's successful, like, considered successful elsewhere, and, like, I don't know, like, if this is what the meta starts to look like, if Japan is ahead of the curve, like, I think Tyranitar is going to make a resurgence, truthfully, because, like, you have Torkoal everywhere, or not everywhere, you have Torkoal and Spectrier that are picking up, and Glastrier, though Tyranitar doesn't really beat Glastrier because it just superpowers it, but, like, yeah, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised to see, like, Tyranitar pick up in usage if this is where things go. I just really like the willingness to use these Pokemon that, like, most of us probably haven't considered or, like, have written off a little bit. Pokemon like Arctozolt finishing top 15, top 16? Yeah, top 16 Arctozolt, right? Terrakion, like I wouldn't consider Terrakion to be very good. Sylveon, Garchomp, right? There's so many Pokemon here that are just really like they just make me curious. I'm like, what are you doing with these? So yeah, if you're interested in any of these teams, you can. I'll link Here's the Twitter Liberty Note. You can find it pretty easily from there. This is the tweet as well. Here's the image to make it easier to find. But yeah, it's interesting, right? Like stuff like it's so interesting. Like so many Spectrier. I feel like if you have stuff coming up, like you have to be aware of Spectrier because it's really picking up in popularity, which is kind of funny because like I know that it until this point like it hasn't really seen much play. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I want to say. I just think these are interesting. I mean, you can go ahead and take a more thorough look. There's a lot of really interesting, unique teams here, and they all finished above 2,000. I keep wanting to say LP, but like yeah, 2,000 ladder points. So like they're every team here is legitimate and like an actual like a super strong team, capable of doing well. So yeah, like. There's so much like Lapras, Spectre, Dusk. Like what a Garchomp? Like what is this team? You know, it's I don't know, it's cool. But yeah, okay, I think that's all I have to say. I mean, you get the gist. Basically, there's a lot of interesting stuff here, and I think it's cool that the meta's in a spot where I don't typically love metas where like everything is equally viable. Like 2017 has got to be my least favorite format of all time, and that's basically the thing about 2017 is like basically everything was good, so that you couldn't like you couldn't really deal with everything, but sorry, to be more clear, in 2017 everything was roughly the same power level, which meant that like tournaments where like you would think that'd be good because like you could just use your use your favorites or whatever, but it made a metagame that was like you didn't have the tools to cover everything, so a lot of it came down to like what you played against, and I didn't enjoy playing against it or playing in that format very much at all. But the thing about this format is I don't feel like everything is the same power level. It just feels like there's a lot of good Pokemon that people haven't figured out how to use yet, and gradually we're figuring out how to use them. So Pokemon like Regirock, for example, which I don't think was on anyone's radar in the first few weeks. Now people have realized you give that thing a weakness policy, you pair it with Bulldoze, and all of a sudden like it's a really strong Pokemon that you have to respect, right? And there's a lot of Pokemon like that. Like maybe Garchomp is one of those Pokemon. Like I don't know how Garchomp is best used, but like I don't know, like I think Garchomp can be good, or maybe it's like a Pokemon like Spectrier, where like oh it has no coverage, but like maybe it doesn't need that much coverage to actually be good. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. Let me know if you like this kind of content. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, feel free to check out this site as well for yourself. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.